Hi, I'm Beth and
And I'm caitee.margenthaler.
and welcome to our 2026 Junior Tournament Reminders. Katie and I are going to breeze through this presentation today because it's been a while since we've talked about tournament registration. And now that we have one tournament under our belt in 2026 and another coming up this weekend, there's been some things that we've encountered that have led us to do this presentation today that we feel are talking points and topics that will be helpful to you as parents, players, and coaches. But if you want a deeper dive into tournament registration, Katie and I did a junior tennis talk on this topic last February. So the QR code here will take you to that presentation. Like I said, we spend a little bit more time on each one of these topics. So again, if you want to listen to that, just the QR code will take you to that presentation. So I do want to remind everybody that we are still running our Super Sport campaign. Parents, players, coaches can nominate players for sportsmanship using the Match Tennis app. The instructions on how to do that, you can use this QR code on the screen, but we also will send out this information every post-selection email. It lives on our tournament homepages, and our tournament directors should have this flyer displayed at the tournament desk or near the draws where they're posting the draws. So please take the time to do this. It's really cool. We have just awarded our third Super Sport winner. We haven't made that announcement yet because although we've rewarded it internally, we are going to surprise that player with the grand prize trip to the US Open. So that will be happening this month in a few weeks. Katie's going to do that. So we will be making that announcement probably next month. So be on the lookout for that. But this is a really cool way to recognize your teammates, your opponents, the players that you see on the court that you feel are demonstrating great sportsmanship. The one exception, and this is something that we do look for, is that parents cannot nominate their own child. So if we see that happening, we won't approve those nominations. Spectator policy. This is something that I wish that we did not have to develop at USTA Missouri Valley. Unfortunately, we've had enough incidents that's led us to establishing a zero tolerance policy for spectators. So this has even come up, unfortunately, with our tournament last weekend, where a tournament director had to refer to our policy to deal with an unruly spectator. And it's important to point out that poor sportsmanship on behalf of the spectator can result in suspension points being issued to the player that spectator is associated with. Additionally, there are some things that we're working on internally, including a policy that in the event that the spectator has to be removed from the facility, and if they had to be removed from the facility by force, meaning the police department was called, that would be a minimum of 5 suspension points, upward to 10. So we are taking this very seriously. We are educating our tournament directors on our process. Katie and I are also on call all weekend of our tournaments, and so as our tournament directors encounter issues with spectators, we're calling us and we're giving them guidance on how to proceed. So please just be aware of this. I would say 99% of our parents are wonderful. Unfortunately, that 1%, when they're naughty, they're really naughty. So we want to make sure that we are creating a fun and safe place for our players, but we also want to keep our tournament directors. We want to make sure they're willing to continue to host tournaments for you all. So when our spectators are on their best behavior, it creates a positive experience for tournament directors, which in turn leads them to want to host more tournaments. So this information is also on our tournament homepage. It is sent in a post-selection email that you will receive. And it's our hope that the tournament directors are printing off these flyers and posting them at the tournament desk or near the tournament desk. So you'll see 2 sides to this flyer. One is a policy itself. This other side is how our parents and our spectators can best support their player, because you are their biggest fan, and we couldn't do what we do without you, and we do appreciate you. So sometimes this is just a great referral of how you can help your player prepare for the tournament before, during, and after their match. So some handy tips there. All right, so one of the things that we also experienced, at least I did last weekend, and I don't know if Katie's experienced it this time around, is concurrent tournament registration. This is a friend at court violation, so this is not something that we're making up. If you get an email from me that says it's been discovered that your child has been entered into 2 tournaments at the time of an entry deadline, and you withdraw from one of our USTA Missouri Valley tournaments to go play in the other tournament, you will receive 4 suspension points. The way that you can avoid getting these suspension points, and this works for Missouri Valley, you need to make sure that if you are in a district, what your district regulation is in respect to concurrent tournament registrations, or if you're a parent watching this from another section, I highly recommend you go to the tournament homepage or contact your section so that you have an understanding of how they handle concurrent tournament registration. In Missouri Valley, if you reach out to me or your tournament directors that you are wanting for the tournaments that you want your child to enter, and they give you written permission to enter both tournaments with the understanding of which tournament is your preference, that you will withdraw from this tournament to play in that tournament if your child gets into both tournament directors give you this written permission, then that will avoid suspension points in Missouri Valley. So just be preemptive, send that email, save that email so that it can come to me, and I will make sure that we do not issue suspension points. Otherwise, at the entry deadline of both tournaments, if your child is entered into 2 tournaments at the time of the entry deadline, we will issue suspension points. And finally, tournament withdrawals. We see a lot of these. So going back to concurrent tournament registration, one of the things that Katie and I are doing internally is that we do have a spreadsheet that any player that withdraws from the tournament, their name is going onto the spreadsheet. So first thing I do is I look to see if they have entered into another tournament. So that goes back to the concurrent tournament rule. The other thing that we're going to start tracking is how frequently are players withdrawing from tournaments. So if we see some, I won't say like frequent flyers, then we will be sending some emails to those parents and players to say, you've now withdrawn from a tournament, a Missouri Valley tournament 3 times, and perhaps not provided the acceptable documentation for that withdrawal. And in that case, we will issue suspension points. So please be aware of that. This is your warning. So help us out. The more information you can provide, because again, it needs to be a qualified reason why you are withdrawing your child. So personal circumstance, but a valid personal circumstance, not my player changed their mind, or they want to go on a date now, and so therefore they're not going to play your tournament. It would need to be a valid personal circumstance, an illness, and what's the other one? Injury. So in those cases, we do ask for doctor's notes. So any information that you can provide us to avoid those suspension points would be appreciated.
All right, moving on to doubles. So when it comes to doubles, the best way to ensure that you get to play doubles in a USTA Missouri Valley tournament is that you sign up before the Wednesday deadline with a partner. After that, through the selection process, you can sign up for the blind draw and all that stuff. But making sure that your player, if they want to play doubles at any point, is registered for doubles before the Wednesday deadline. We do have our Sunday deadline of communicating with the tournament director about your doubles intentions, but that is only for players who are registered before the Wednesday deadline. If you are not, it's considered late entry, which is against USTA Missouri Valley Junior Tournament rules and regulations. For doubles, make sure if you find a partner after the Wednesday deadline, the tournament director receives an email from both parties. They have to have that confirmation to know that both players want to play with each other. And then last but not least, if you sign up without a partner and the tournament directors reach out to you, they don't hear from you, no communication means no doubles. So if you don't don't communicate with tournament director, you probably won't get put into doubles. So if you're wanting to play doubles, make sure you're letting them know. Just want to touch base on the team tournaments we have coming up this year. We hear from our clientele, you guys, all the time that we want to have the team tournaments. So we have our L2 intersectional, the mixed dom duo coming up new this year, and we'll touch base on that more. We keep saying is the level 3 closed Missouri Valley Team Championship, where we took, and this is over Labor Day weekend, and we took the L4 and swapped some dates. So just make sure you double check your calendars for that. We have the level 4 team, which is a gender dom duos, and then we have a couple L5 mixed dom duos throughout the summer. Touching base on our flighted L5s, again, another tournament format we introduced, I guess, last year, because we heard that you guys all want compass draws. So 32 players, we split you into 2 draws of 16. Compass draws, most singles play won't go more than 2 days. And we have 2 of those throughout the outdoor season, June 20th through 22nd, and then September 26th through 28th. Again, take a look out for those. And then also coming up for the March L5, we're going to introduce some players and spectator meetings for the boys and girls 12s. We're just going to have some education and a little bit more information about the tournament pathway and that kind of stuff coming up for you guys through that process. And last but not least, you will receive an email for a post-tournament survey. Please fill that out. We do look at those. We do see them. It's 100% anonymous, so we don't know who's filling it out. Your feedback and suggestions, we do use that. We take it back to our junior play committee, and we do use that to make changes if needed to our different policies and procedures. We do share the results with the tournament staff so they know and they can take and better themselves as tournament directors. And again, like I said, everything is anonymous, so we don't know who's saying it. So please, your honest feedback is very, very welcome.
All right.
And
you go ahead, Caitee.
I'm going to say this last little bit right here. We have just different resources available to you, so you can scan these QR codes. And it'll take you to that stuff. But there's some beat the heat. So as we get closer to the outdoor season, if you're wanting to make sure you're getting texts about tournament deadlines coming up, just text USTA Missouri Valley Juniors to 84483. Junior tennis talks, obviously these that Beth and I are doing. There's a national resource page with more stuff. We have our tournament schedule and then the national tournament schedule all on there for you.
All right, thank you. So like I said, short and sweet. Hopefully this provides some good reminders for you as you are registering for tournaments and deciding which to play in 2026. Our contact information is on the screen. If you're interested in, again, doing a deeper dive, this QR code will take you to the playlist of our previously aired junior tennis talks. So we've been doing this for a year now. So we have over 12 talks that have been published. And we've got some interesting ones, I think, scheduled for this year as well. So bookmark that and then be on the lookout for future talks. Thank you.